Image is visible? Okay, don't worry, it's not. Red light, green light, red light, big dot. Okay, now visible. Okay, correct. Another visible once again. Words should never the book other things. It's okay. How many people know about this event? Science, math, pedagogy, wale also answer.
Rainbow.
No, it's not a rainbow. Okay. Yes? No? Alright. I know the brochure said storytelling, but we'll be going on a voyage which ends in this image. Alright, our story begins in the year 1965, the summer of 1965, by a man in Caltech. Caltech is California Institute of Technology. A student named Gary Franbro discovers a rare alignment in the outer planets of the solar system. Outer planets, namely Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. He sees that in the late 1970s, the outer planets are going to align in such a way that if one tried to shoot past certain satellites, it will be able to use the gravity of those planets to increase its speed. So consequently, you can take jumps, use the gravity of those planets, and increase the speed of a spacecraft so that you can travel faster than any of the man-made objects made back then. The mind that NASA got to work, and in July of 1972, NASA approved of a mission called Mariner Saturn/Jupiter 1977. Later on, the mission was renamed to what we know now as Voyager. August 20th, 1977, Voyager 2 was launched first. Remember, Voyager 2 was launched first. Later on in the same year, on September 5th, 1977, Voyager 1 was launched. So both of them were launched one after the other. Voyager 2 was launched first, Voyager 1 was launched next. It is named so that Voyager 1 was supposed to reach Jupiter and Saturn first. Although launched second, Voyager 1 was supposed to reach Jupiter and Saturn first, then Voyager 2. And as planned, in the March of 1979, Voyager 1 makes its closest approach to Jupiter. It reaches Jupiter and it reveals something that we had only seen on Earth. It reaches Jupiter and it observes Jupiter's moon Io. It sees that the moon of Jupiter, these are some of the images that the Voyager 1 captured, and Voyager 2 also. Now Voyager 1 observed that the surface of Io had active volcanoes just like Earth, right? And it also captured what we now know as Jupiter's Great Red Spot, which afterwards we come to realize that it's a cyclone that has been going on for centuries now. And it also talked about the Jovian ring system that Jupiter had, although we didn't get the photos of it. Voyager 1 was unable to capture photos of the ring system. In July 1979, Voyager 2 reaches Jupiter. We discussed that Voyager 1 reaches Jupiter first, even though it launched second. And subsequently, Voyager 2 reaches Jupiter in the July of 1979. And Voyager 2 provided images of the ring system and also, what did it discover? Yes, the icy nature of Europa. Europa is another moon of Jupiter, and we discovered that above the frozen surface of Europa, there is water. Below the frozen surface of Europa, there is water. In August of 1980, Voyager 1 reaches Saturn, and it discovers that the largest moon of Saturn, called Titan, has Earth-like atmosphere. So its atmosphere is nitrogen-rich, and it also said that there are seas of methane and ethane on the largest moon of Saturn, which is Titan. Later on, Voyager 2 reaches Saturn, and it does its discovery, and it talks about the weather features about the planet. For example, Saturn has this hexagonal rings on the poles. It's not visible here because there is no image of the pole, but on the pole here, there's a hexagonal ring system, which is again sort of like a cyclone, so just like Jupiter's Great Red Spot. Now in 1980, after Voyager 1 has reached Saturn, after it does its discovery, it commands itself, maneuvers itself above the planet's gravity and shoots out of the solar system plane. So if this is the plane of the solar system, it goes around to Saturn and out of the plane. So its job is done. It was launched in 77 and in 1980 it was done work. And it shoots out and drifts into eternity. Voyager 2 continues its path after Saturn. It goes to Uranus. There it discovers that Uranus is one of the coldest planets in the solar system with temperatures of minus 300 degrees Celsius. It also discovered the unique tilt of Uranus. We all know that Earth's axis is tilted at 20 degrees something and it rotates like this. Let's not get factual. Although Voyager 2 discovered that Uranus's axis is at its equator. So the planet essentially rotates like this. After, sorry?
Clockwise.
Clockwise. Earth axis is this. It बहुत tilted है. Earth axis थोड़ा ही tilted है. Uranus का axis पूरा tilted. Okay. Later on, it goes on to Neptune. There also it discovers that it has water and has certain temperatures similar to Uranus. And then it again shoots itself once its mission is done, because at that time Neptune was the only planet. Pluto, I guess, was declared as a dwarf. So it shoots off and then travels into eternity, travels into the unknown of the universe. Now, Voyager 1 was launched. Voyager 1 was left the solar system plane in 1980. Then comes the day of February 14, 1990. So it's been 10 years since Voyager 1 has left the solar system plane. It has travelled over 6 billion kilometers from the sun. February 14, 1990, Voyager 1 receives a message from NASA on the request of Carl Sagan and some of his. Carl Sagan is one of the greatest astrophysicists of our time. Voyager 1 receives a message from NASA that please turn around and capture what we now know as the family portrait of the solar system. I'll get to that. Don't you go. At 6 billion kilometers away from the sun, Voyager 1 turns on its camera and captures photographs of every planet we know from 6 billion kilometers away and transmits it back to Earth. What we see is this image. Yes. What we see is this image. Now this image, after seeing this image, again I'd like to quote Carl Sagan here, what he said after observing this image, or ignore this image is not particularly HD or good quality. No, wait, go back to wait now. Let me talk. So you can see that there's some red light, there's some green light, and there's some red light again. And you can see this dot here. Yes? This is what Carl Sagan had to say about the dot. From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us as it means the astrophysics community and the general science community. But for us, it's different. Consider again that dot. Look at that dot again. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever lived out their lives, the aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilizations, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in sunbeam. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. Carl Sagan. Once this image was captured in 1990, February 14, 1990, NASA asked Voyager 1 to shut down its camera so that it can save power for other vital functions to gather data. in 2012. Now, Voyager, remember, Voyager 1 was launched in 1977. In 2012, Voyager 1 crossed interstellar space. It crossed the shop. We will not get into the details, just know that interstellar space is very, very far. Voyager 1 became the first human-made object to enter interstellar space. Voyager 2 followed in 2018. In 2018, Voyager 2 also crossed interstellar space. Now, as you remember, Voyager 2 was launched first, Voyager 1 was launched second, which makes Voyager 2 the longest operating mission by NASA. It was launched in 1977 and it is operational till date. That was the story of how we reached to this mission, the Pale Blue Dot. Thank you.
Yes, so what do you have to say about this? Morning music, yes.
I love the ending quote by Carl Sagan. It reminds us that the earth is not yours or mine. It's no one's and it's everyone's. So fighting, killing, destroying, and saying this is mine and this is yours is absolutely futile and pointless. We should remind ourselves that we live in a very, very brief period of time. And that we should love and respect one another and deal by deal.
That's very true. The message is conveyed that is not a conception that we cherish is independent. And that's absolutely correct. Yes. Say something about this. Yes.
I have always been fascinated and have held the view that we are very tiny beings. I have always wondered while I roam around and everything that we suppose live in India, I live in Mumbai, and just a small part of the entire earth. And I have been so fascinated by that concept. But today when I heard that in the universe itself, the entire earth is so small, the entire universe itself is so small, I am just fascinated beyond words because we are way far, way away from what the reality is. And I think that is.
So that is how we should understand our Vedas and Upanishads. So then we understand that we are nothing, we are zero, right? So that way we must understand about his way of telling us what we want to say on this. Very nice. Yeah, please stand up. Very nice. Okay, what else? Anything else? Yes, you want to say something? Yeah, Manisha.
Website. Get inspired to
So altogether different dimension was explored, and then I'm sure that it will become a very good teacher because the way he has narrated the story and also used of teaching aids in support. He was going towards visual and then audio. I was telling about the switching. So he showed very well that switching, how you can switch from audio to visual and visual to audio. And then it was very fluent, very effective, very impressive, and with the
A small
very
side,
nice.
a fun fact. We saw what was called Voyager's Pale Blue Dot. NASA has a mission called Cassini, which was used to revolve. Now it has dumped itself into Saturn because its mission is over. It revolved around Saturn, and in 2014 or something, it planned to take an image from Saturn, of Earth, and then you will still just you see Saturn's ring, and you see a pale blue dot. That is Earth. Well, the thing is, NASA had broadcast this message that at so and so time, on so and so date, Cassini will be keeping a picture of Earth. And so, for a good amount of people were aware that they were going to click. So, a good amount of people were actually posing on Earth that day.
Science and maths and then our pedagogy. Have a nice day and nice to see all of you here in the morning. So thank you so much for And coordinator of cultural project, please send your report. How many are there? Please stand up.